So 10n squared plus 2 equals 292. So personally, I would notice that this has no n, and I would solve using square roots, but maybe you didn't notice that. Maybe you tried to do quadratic formula. So if you did the quadratic formula, our first step is to put it in standard form. So here's our standard form. So I need to get this equal to 0. So I need to move the 292 by subtracting it. 2 is its like term, so I'm going to do it right below it. So I ended up with 10n squared minus 290 equals 0. So I'm ready to name A, B, and C. Okay. This is where this one gets just a little bit tricky. So A is in front of the x squared term, or the squared term in general. So that's 10. B is in front of the x, or this time n. If you notice, we don't have one. So that means it's 0. And C is the constant. So our constant is negative 290. So now that we have A, B, and C, we're ready to plug it into the quadratic formula. Pause your video and write down the quadratic formula. You should have written down x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So we are going to pop in these variables now. So first thing I'm going to do is plug in the a for all the a's. And I'm going to plug in the b for all the b's. And then plug in the c for the c. So pause your video and pop them in. So I got x equals the opposite of 0 plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 10 times negative 290 all over 2 times 10. So I'm going to always simplify my 3 locations. Okay. So I know I'm going to end up with this form. So I know it's going to be some number plus or minus the square root of some number divided by some number. So opposite of 0 first. So the opposite of 0 is still 0. Next, I need to type all this in my calculator. So pause your video and type it in your calculator. So I got a huge number. I got 11600 when I type that in my calculator. And then I got 2 times 10, which is 20. All right, so now I got to simplify this square root. All right. So what is that? 11,600. That is bigger than our list. Okay, so that's above 400, which equals plus or minus 20. So it's going to be above here somewhere. 11,600. So the first number I'm going to try is 400. So I do 11,600 divided by 400. And I get 29. Hey, first try. That's lucky. So I can rewrite this 11600 as the square root of 400 times the square root of 29. Square root of 400, we said, is plus or minus 20. Square root of 29 doesn't have one. So I'm going to pop this in right there. So I still have my 0 plus or minus. Instead of the square root of 11,600, I've got 20 square root of 29, and that's over 20. Now, 0 plus or minus 20, well, that 0 is just going to go away. 0 plus 20 is positive 20 square root of 29, and 0 minus 20 is negative 0, so it's positive negative 20 square root of 29 over 20. Okay? And then if you look at this, the 20 and the 20 are going to cancel each other out. So I'm just going to end up with plus or minus the square root of 29. So that is 2 answers. That's positive 29 square root of 29, and that's negative square root of 29. So in this case, it would have been so much easier. We would have gotten much smaller numbers if we would have just taken the square root at the beginning instead of doing the quadratic formula.